Welcome to Mike's Morning Mug. We've got something a little bit different for you today. Today we're going over the paranormal investigation arsenal. Yeah, all the different equipment that we use to investigate. Usually we have a Friday night ghost frights that we post today. However, I'm doing a lot of traveling, so this one was just quick, easy, but it's something that people always ask me, hey, what do you use for equipment? So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start with some of the basics, the audio recorder, and you're probably wondering what this whole thing is. So my audio recorder, digital audio recorder, it's a Sony. I've had this for quite a while, and I just put it in this little, it's an old style MP3 holder. It fits real nice right in there. And what I do with this, I've put a little hole in the top of it. I just poke it right out there, zip it up. And I actually strapped this to my arm. So one of the things that I had issues with, like really early on when I was investigating, is, I would put the audio recorder on my hip. Sometimes I would hold it or what have you, and you'd always end up with these other sounds. I'd hear myself walking all the time, or if I moved, I would hear it. Of course, in the hand, some of those movements you could accidentally misconstrue as EVPs. So I did this. Of course, can't forget your trusty flashlight. People always ask me about cameras and different types of equipment like that. So right now, I'm just going to show a picture of it. The camera that's being used to take the video right now is a Canon SL2. It actually works out really well for high quality HD shots. And so I use that for a lot of these type of videos, but I also use it while investigating as well. Does not have night vision, one of the downsides of it, but when we're doing walkthroughs, when we're doing interviews and things like that, perfect for all of that sort of stuff. So for night vision, now this is one part of the arsenal that we are going to upgrade soon. So right now, just using a little handheld HD camera that does have night vision. It has a little built-in infrared light on it, but have added infrared on the side here. So this one picked up from Cleveland Paranormal Supply because it was local to me when I was out in Ohio in the Cleveland area. And then, of course, just got the Panasonic IR light here on Amazon. So I'm going to link all of these different things to Amazon so that if you're interested in any of these items, you can go down in there and pick it up yourself. And the final camera that we've been using is actually this Canon Vixia that I've had for a number of years now. Kind of like the Canon SL2, it does not take the night shots, does not take night vision. However, it's been a great video camera that, just little portable handheld and getting that walkthrough footage, getting those interviews, all that. We've upgraded now to the SL2, but I still pull this out from time to time. It's a little less bulky to have to handle, and sometimes we'll set it up as an additional camera on some of our investigations. A great example of that is our last Vandalia video, where I just had this pointed down the hall and there was enough lighting coming from up the stairs that it illuminated the hallway. And so just really almost like B-roll footage, just getting some shots of us walking back and forth and that sort of thing. It was picking that up. Also got some different angles of us actually conducting the investigation, and we just used it as a static cam. And while I said that was the last camera, we do go live from a number of our investigations for a certain period of time. And so, of course, that's the cell phone. And what I've done here is the tripod. So little phone mounting bracket there on the tripod, and it actually works out really great because the legs are bendable, movable, all that. You can wrap this thing around a pole. You can just set it up as a little tripod. There's a lot of different ways that you can set this up. So you get into some different situations, rooms, buildings, stairwells, whatever, that you don't really have a great place to set up at, and while you're going live, and you can just wrap this thing around something or put it in a really awkward angle, and boom, there you go, you got your shot. Since we were talking a little bit about lighting, and I have shown the flashlight here a couple of times now, right? We do have a UV flashlight. So, this is basically black light. There is a newer theory out there that spirits might not like a regular standard flashlight, that maybe that scares them off. So people have been trying the UV light. I really haven't picked up a whole lot with the UV light. This one actually has two modes. It has a lower mode and a higher mode. Just basically adds more lights to the shot. And basically what I've been able to do with it is create some low light camera situations, which have been interesting. Makes for kind of a creepy, cool shot, but I haven't really seen any additional apparitions or shadows or anything like that with it. But, you know, it's always worth trying something new, and so that's why I picked that up. Sticking on lighting here for a little bit. This is one that I've been using a little bit more for, again, kind of setting up shots, creating low light situations, especially for like when we go live and we kind of need some light in there, and you don't want to be holding, you know, flashlight, camera, all that. It becomes too much stuff to kind of hang on to while running a live investigation session. But it also, in some other situations, you know, maybe you do want some additional light within the room, but you want to be able to control it. I've picked up this guy from Newer, and I have the orange filter on it now, but it has a clear filter as well. Let's turn it on. So you get a lot of additional light with this. Has a adjustable knob on the back, so you can set how much light that you want. It keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter the higher you go. So that's really very, very nice. You can have an adjustable light, and like I said, it has really helped out with the live investigations and setting up some additional light, and even for doing some walkthroughs, or depending on, you know, where you are in an investigation, maybe you need some additional light shining on, maybe it's an old rickety staircase or something like that, to create some safety. And so that comes in handy in a lot of situations. Comes with 2 battery packs as well, this kit that I got. So again, I'm going to link all this stuff down below so you can check it all out. Another lighting option that we've been using a lot lately in investigations are motion sensor lights. And so these are, you know, just real simple, basic, you know, round little lights. You pop in 3 AAA batteries and you set them down. We usually like to set them up down a hallway and see if we might be able to pick up on something that's coming at us down the hallway. So we've seen it work a couple of different times where one of the lights will go off and maybe all of a sudden we start experiencing some other activity. Maybe we capture an EVP, something like that. And then I think this is probably our last lighting solution, and that's a little laser grid light. So it's just a little pin light. They come in a lot of different varieties. You know, this is kind of just a basic one where you have to hold down the button. So we could definitely upgrade this. Some of them come with little tripods and, you know, all different little adapters, create different kinds of grids and what have you. Of course, the idea is that as you have this set up, that you might catch a shadow walking through and breaking those parts of the grid. EMF Basics. Well, you got your K2. So, I mean, this is come in handy, and I don't know how many occasions. And, you know, it's funny that there's a lot of people now that, you know, scoff at the K2, you know, because I guess maybe of how simplistic it is, or, you know, it's an older piece of equipment, really is what it's considered. But I've gotten a number of interactions with this, you know, sitting in locations that have 0 electromagnetic fields whatsoever, just out in the middle of nowhere, or just, you know, a situation that nothing was going on, and then boom, all of a sudden, you know, you start getting some activity. I always talk about the one in the World War II airplane, where all of a sudden I started talking about being in the Air Force, and this started going off when, you know, we hadn't been getting anything for, you know, about 20 minutes. Just with something like this, be careful in how you use it. Don't say, you know, talk into the light, or can you make the lights go up, or anything like that. You have to explain to a lot of these spirits exactly what this is and how it works. So just saying, hey, can you make the lights in the K2 meter go up? You know, some spirit from 1883 is not going to understand that. So put into context and explain to them exactly what it is. It might take a little bit longer. It might be boring and redundant for you, but if you want the spirit that you're trying to interact with to understand what in the world you are asking of them, explain it. Same thing with the Mel meter. Don't just say, hey, can you make the numbers on the Mel meter go up? You know, you have to explain to them what exactly it is and what it's doing. So I've had this one for a number of years now. The backlight on it no longer works. So gonna have to get a new one or upgrade or what have you. But, you know, Like the K2, it picks up on EMF fields, but it also picks up on temperature as well. So now that we're this far through the video, you're probably wondering why in the world I'm using this microphone and kind of leaning into it and talking like this rather than just being mic'd up with a little lavalier mic. Yeah, well, that's because it's sitting over here and I'm going to show you. We use these in a variety of different situations. So one of the things that kind of drives us nuts when we're putting together the videos and we're editing and all that is when you have something like a camera like this. Even if you had a shotgun mic hooked up to it, okay? When the person you're investigating with turns their head away and they're talking off in the other direction, you lose the volume. And so then you're having to play with the volume between the two different people that are talking. Because one's turned away, their volume's lower, and then yours is, of course, perfectly fine because you're holding the camera. And so you're spending all this time editing, trying to get the volume all correct. So we've alleviated that by just micing ourselves up. And so there's one here for Shauna, one here for me. It's a little bit to get it set up. It takes some time, and so you have to have a bit of patience to get everything hooked up. But it comes in real handy when you're trying to do some sort of video production on these investigations, that you can keep that volume really consistent. And so it has the hot shoe, of course, to go ahead and put on top of the camera, and all these pretty easily slide into it, and you get your microphones and all that. So little extra work, definitely worth it if you're trying to do some sort of video production on your videos and get it out there. So just remember to turn things on. I screwed that one up with Vandalia. It happens. We had just gotten them. It was really our first investigation that we were using them for. So but that's, and I've used them for these videos here too, for the Mike's Morning Mug and the Friday Night Ghost Rights and all that. So comes in very handy for that as well. So now a new favorite of mine has been the drone. So you don't really do a lot of investigating with the drone, of course. This is a DJI Mavic Air. So very, very cool, because it just comes in this little case, right? But it's like a transformer, It just, unwinds. I'll do it without tearing it apart. Boom, there we go. It's very, very cool. So, what we use this for, of course, is the overhead shots in a number of our newer videos. Very interesting, actually, to get a different perspective of the locations that we're investigating. So whether it's a cemetery or a creepy, cool haunted house or what have you, it provides a different vantage point for the viewers of, if you're doing YouTube videos or what have you, if you're doing video production. Very, very good for that. Instagram photos or whatever, trying to show people where you've been investigating, all that's fantastic. But you know what? It's also a research tool. So we've been working on a project in which we've had to get some overhead shots for that. But even when we were out at Ashmore Cemetery in Ashmore, Illinois, where the creepy tree portal is, wanted to go ahead and get an overhead shot of that and see, because we've walked through there a number of times, we feel the energy that's in there. It's something that we've always been curious about, and so we keep going back there to try to investigate more. So with this, I decided, hey, I want to see what this thing looks like from above and see if there's any sort of formation that we can make out from above to try to make sense of what's going on in this tree structure that's deliberately been placed there. So the drone came in very handy for that. So great for presentation, great for research as well. But you're not necessarily going to, fly this around inside a location while you're in the middle of investigating. And the great thing about this, folds up into this fits in my camera bag. That's how small it is. It fits in my camera bag. Really, really easy and portable. So if you can drop a few bucks on it, the DJI Mavic Air is really the way to go. Some of the bulky ones, they're still nice, they're still decent. You can get some great footage with it, but this is so portable, it's just unbelievably awesome. You know, and of course it has its RC controller and all that with it. But yeah, that all fits, boom, right in my camera bag. Easy. All right, so we're getting down to the wire. I got one other thing here. The coffee sitting on top of it. Yeah, this video is brought to you by Haunted Road Roast Coffee. You can check that out, hauntedroadmedia.com, in the merch section of the website. Let's see what's under here in the big black box. I know I've said in other videos that I like to keep it simple. And we do. We really do. But we've given ourselves options. So in here, and it's all taken apart at the moment. So I'm not going to put it together in the middle of this video. Thank you. Is the SLS camera. So this is the Connect system part of it. You've got the you know, basically it's a little tablet that connects into the whole thing. You know, battery pack, you get, you know, the mounts. You know, this is basically what you end up, you know, it's a little tripod, but you can hold it in your hand as well. And so that is the SLS camera, which I really like. You know, I find it very useful. It's one that's, given that it's based off of motion detection, having had a Connect system, my kids having had a Connect system, and you know, knowing how that works, how that picks up on movement, how it maps it into the computer, it's one that makes sense to me that I can buy into. And yes, you will notice that there has been no spirit box. One other thing. So this is all what a lot of people would call quote unquote science-based investigation. That's us liking to play with our gadgets. And really all it means is that we may have picked up on paranormal activity. So these indications are letting us know that there's something that's not normal going on. And so, you know, we put the pieces together to end up making an assessment that, well, you know, maybe there is something paranormal going on here. But there is a metaphysical side that we do believe in as well. And so Shauna has all of her stones and what have you that she brings on investigations. I actually have some as well. And I know a lot of people don't really know that about me, but it's something I've always been into. I've been collecting rocks since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. It depends on your size of grasshopper. So I have a variety of different stones and what have you here that I've collected over the years, and I have the most terrible little bag. You know, some of these I've pulled out of the ground myself. I gave Shauna my amethyst that I pulled out of the ground. Moorefield Mine in Virginia. If you ever, you know, want to go get your own, literally your own stones out of the ground, go to Moorefield Mine in Virginia. Their schedule is very hit or miss as far as when they're open, so you really have to pay attention to it. But when they are open, go down there, get prepared to get dirty. But you can get a bunch of buckets. You can load up for, I think it was $15 back in the day. I don't know what it is now. It's been a good, 10, 12 years since I've been down there. But as many buckets as you could fill, but you can also sluice everything right there, clean off the stones so you don't have to bring a bunch of dirt. And she has my amethyst. I got a bunch of other stones in there that are from that. Here's a piece of citrine from there. Lots of great stuff. Some straight up, crystals, quartz crystals. Awesome stuff. So I've got, some Tourmaline here, just as a protective stone, black protective stone, of course. Got a medallion of St. Michael, which my mother gave me. Now, she doesn't necessarily believe in all the ghost stuff. She does. She does read the ghost books and all that. I mean, she has, like Ghosts of Williamsburg books and stuff like that. She likes the ones that have a lot more of the history involved in it. But she also named me after St. Michael. So medallion of St. Michael's in there. I just picked up this piece of apatite, a Moorefield Mine again, years ago. I picked up a fantastic apatite crystal that it was the first time they had ever seen apatite at that mine. They bought it off me, which I've regretted ever since. So I had to go down to its ratings in and replace that, and so I have. So just have some interesting things. Piece of quartz. This is the one that Shauna picked out. It's the one that called out to us both. Basically, she had her eyes closed. I'm standing above her, and I'm looking at that particular one. Like, that's the one. and she actually ended up picking that out. Had no idea that I'm already looking at it like that's the one. She grabbed it. So, and then a Tiger Eye Pendulum, just recently added to the arsenal here from my friend Sabrina when we were at Old Licking County Jail. In my hand, it just started buzzing, and she said, "Go ahead and take it," because it hadn't called out to her, it called out to me. And so I've just really now started using it. So we'll see. And then our friend Missy Nichols gave us the selenite wand. So this is after investigations, just kind of, just kind of pull any, negative energy that may have gotten onto you. Is kind of the idea of that. So there are metaphysical things that we incorporate into it as well. So we kind of play both worlds because you know what? I believe in both worlds. I'm not just, I'm not just psychic only, and I'm not just gadgets only. I believe that they work together. So we do a little bit of everything on our investigations. And of course, present that all to you here on the Haunted Road Media YouTube channel. So really do want to thank our supporters, the Mad Hatters out there, our Patreon patrons that have helped us out so much, those in our live streams with the super chats. All you people that have helped support us over the years have been absolutely fantastic, and that has helped us to be able to increase the number of different things that we can use on our investigations and present to you the different things that you want to see us doing and trying in our investigations. And so that has been an absolutely wonderful thing, and we thank you for that dearly from the bottom of our hearts. Of course, the most important thing of all is the coffee. You have to have coffee before you go out on an investigation, unless you're like Shauna, she'll drink tea. But of course, mine of choice would be Haunted Road Roast. It's actually really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because, it's, my face on there and the Stone Lion Inn and all that stuff. It is actually really, really good coffee. Anybody who's bought it is just giving it rave reviews. So you need your coffee. And then, of course, your selfie with Ghosty. So we do that as well. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another Mike's Morning Mug. You can check out our other Mike Morning Mugs video out on the side there. This has been number 101. Got 100 now. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Till next time.